Hello, Katrina here from Mindful Nurse Gardener. I missed yesterday, so I think I've missed about 3 days. And again, just being mindful of the way that I think about myself when I, miss a day on my commitment to myself showing up on YouTube. And still going to decide if I'm just going to add those days to the end of my 111 days. Yeah, I'll think about it. We'll see what happens from there. Anyways, it's nice to see you again. If you've been watching my channel, I come on here and I speak to different mind, body, a little bit of spiritual stuff, care of supporting yourself as a human being here on earth. And yeah, really about my experience as a nurse, my experience as, my own lived experience of coming back from a traumatic stress injury, and that I hope that people that are watching are getting that it's possible to heal, and to keep coming back to self, and that you're worth it. And yeah, so on the weekend, this past weekend, my family and we went skiing, and I thought, I was going down the hill, should have been paying attention to skiing, and I was like, oh, my body. And for a moment I was thinking, oh man, this is just, I'm 50. So I'm out there on the hill and I'm skiing, and I'm thinking, oh, my legs are just feeling really weak. I haven't done this for a couple years. Usually, like every season we were going out, so I could really feel it. And, there was a moment of a little bit of self-judgment. And then I thought, oh, I caught myself, and then I remember thinking that I am so lucky, and body, you're still going, and it's never too late to come back to it, right? And then, I'm thinking about coming on here tonight and talking about, what am I going to talk about? I thought about embodiment, and, talking about why that's important. So mindful embodiment. So, as I was going down the hill, I'm thinking, oh, my body, it's just feeling a little like not as strong as it could be. And, what are the things that I could be doing? And I was like, oh, you're doing it now. And so, and talking to myself and kindly, and being very grateful that I could still get on into these ski boots and on a mountain and keep up kinda with the boys. And, so that's pretty, I was grateful that I was there, for one, and out in nature and with my family. But also I was grateful for, that self love that I gave myself in that moment, and how I was, coming into my body in a way, at first, yeah, judgmentally. I was being judgmental, and then I was like, oh, it's important to talk to myself in a kind manner, because your body listens, right? I truly believe that we can talk ourselves into things that may be good or bad, right? If I want to keep talking, not kind to myself, and saying I'm this and saying I'm that, I'm sure eventually I'll be this or that. And the vice versa. If I keep, talking to myself in a manner that is going to support my motivation, support me going and, doing some squats, lifting some weights to support my muscle mass at my age, right? And down the line, support my bone density and keep myself healthy and strong, right, as I age. And, you know, yeah, I can do that. And yeah, I'm going to do more of that. And how I do it, when I do it, will be the question. Um, but in the meantime, I was thinking about the embodiment piece, and then how does that look like in your body? How does that show up, right? That internal awareness, using your senses or intuition and being aware of what's happening, right? Stopping, checking in with yourself, understanding that, there may be times that it doesn't feel good and that's okay, right? Uh, so I recently had an experience which was quite interesting, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. And it was after I had been skiing. And so when things are stored in our body, memories, we have cellular memory, we have, maybe we were in a motor vehicle accident or whatever, and there's some memory in there, or just that momentum of going in a vehicle is just like, oh, it's enough to trigger a person, right? So I think, when we're in a space that we feel safe, and we're open and receptive to coming back to self, and caring for self, and whatnot. I believe that things, and I've seen it with many people, but I've also experienced it myself. So I had this moment this weekend where I had a memory come up, and recently lots of memories have been coming up, and not activating memories per se. However, this one was. So this memory was a memory of going to see my horse, my childhood horse, and his name was Mirage. And I found out where he was from my mom, and I went to see him. And I was in it was maybe like 25 years ago, my mid-20s. And I had this image in my head of him standing in the corral in the field where he was, and he was looked sad, and I wasn't sure if he remembered me, but I went up to him and I talked to him, and I pat him, and so this memory came up, and right away in my body I felt this my heart ache, and I had this pain across my chest, and then I had this guilt come in, and so there's the emotion, and I had this feeling of, or that's the feeling and the emotion of sadness, and just like that I had given him away, and now he was sad, right? And I was hanging on to that. And so I knew, I didn't feel like, for me, I feel like that wasn't our relationship, right? And I don't feel like I needed to hang on to that, but I knew it was coming up to be seen and experienced, and so I was going to walk through it. So I walked through it. I allowed myself to be sad. I allowed myself to talk about it, and I honored another memory of ours where we would go out into the field, and I would just let him run. I'd be riding him, and I would just let him run as fast as he could. And that memory, I felt it in my body. It was just this sense of, oh, I can feel it now. It's just this sense of freedom, the sense of exhilaration, the sense of like, oh, love for him, and his power, and his trust in me, and vice versa. I'm sure, that he loved me as well, and I knew he loved me. And even as I'm talking about it, I can feel myself being sad, but in a good way of like, here was this magical creature that had so much trust in me, and that I can, have that memory and hold on to that memory and allow it to be, if it wants to be processed again, allow it again, right? And so many times we're not allowing ourselves to embody these experiences that come up for us, and we're pushing them down. We're pushing our emotions down, these feelings and or the sensations, and they're not, we're not allowing them to move through, right? And they can get stuck. And that's kind of how trauma works, but it's also for emotional pain and emotional memories, right? Memories that come up. And this is just a good reminder of why mindful embodiment can support, and how it can help us come back to that present moment. If I breathe through, I feel these things, and I'm here now, yes, and that was 25 years ago, but I'm feeling it now, and I'm processing it now. And what a magical gift, really. Like, so what? It was way back then, and this is just an example, right? But there could be something a little bit more triggering, right? Or yeah. And each their own. Like, if there is something that comes up and it's just too hard to do it on your own, that's so okay to ask for help, to go and talk to someone, to really get to give yourself that time to get through that, whatever it is that you're feeling. So yeah, I hope that helps you understand embodiment a bit. I'll put some notes in the description as well, why it's supportive and how it can help us, right? And announcement as well. I'll put a note up or a post later too tomorrow. I am opening my website, Mindful Nurse Gardener, and we will be accepting clients into my beautiful studio, and also virtual care as well. And yeah, if you have any questions or want to check out my website, after tomorrow it will be open, so that'll be March 3rd. If not by the end of March 2nd, I'll have it published at mindfulnursegardener.ca. And yeah, I hope that I get to see some of you, or if you have any questions, please reach out for a free 30-minute consultation, and we'll see if we're a match. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing my YouTube channels and talking away on here and seeing what comes of it. All right. I hope you're well. Oops. Yeah. I'm just going to knock over the camera here before I go. Okay. Take care. Bye.